replace the Grumman job, but it's
When I was with Jimmy,
The whole giving away
wait a minute, let me,
a third of the property or half of the property.
Frank,
It's terrible. It makes me want to vomit.
wait a minute. When I was with Jimmy and we had all those big guys come through us, there were two reasons why they wouldn't come out here. We talked to Lufthansa, I talked to the speed train in Germany, no housing, mass transportation.
Yeah, but we have a mass transit, we're connected to, we have a rail connection.
everybody's like, oh, no housing in that town, but everywhere you go in the country, it's mixed with development. You don't want
Okay,
just
good now?
housing.
You ready?
Housing.
Yeah.
But it's
All right, we're ready.
I know, I don't mind that, I would.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the December 14th meeting of the ZBA. If you would kindly turn off or make sure that your phones are off so we're not interrupted, we'll proceed. The first thing on the agenda is I'm going to read a ratification for Riverhead Commons. This was a proposal that was put before us that was passed, but we're waiting for SEQA results, and they were fine, so this is the ratification. I move that termination of appeal number 17-58, Riverhead Commons, Richard Israel, 780 Old Country Road, Riverhead, granted on October 26, 2017, be ratified in accordance with the completion of the necessary SEQA coordinate review. Have a second.
Second.
Mrs. Worthington.
Aye.
Mr. Seabrook.
Aye.
And I vote aye, so it's been ratified, so this is yours, right? And you want to read the first one, since they're all new?
First item is appeal number 2017-65, Karen Stakler, 2873 North Wading River Road, Wading River, Suffolk County Tax Map number 627-211, RB 80 zoning, for variances to and/or relief from the provisions of Chapter 301, Section 222C, proposing to reopen a deli grocery use where the pre-existing non-conforming use has been discontinued for over 1 year.
All right, would you please raise your right hand? God, it's a tough time to lose your voice. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name and your address.
Tracy Shaleski, P.O. Box 674, Coram, New York, 11727.
All right, would you please tell us what you're seeking?
We're here to reopen an existing deli. It's a mixed-use building. It's been out of use for a few years. I had spoken to the owner, and he's kind of like iffy about when exactly he had closed it. Even though I pressed him a few times, I really couldn't get a straight answer. We're thinking like 2 or 3 years or so that it's been closed. He owns the building. He has owned the building for quite some time. His son lives in the residential section of the building, and he lives right around the block from this property.
Is that Mr. Barron?
Stakler?
Okay.
It's
That
Karen
was
and
the
Jerry
first one.
Stakler that own it right now.
Okay.
And their son is the one that lives in the back of the building. So he owns two delis. He owned this one and one over in Yaphank, the German deli in Yaphank. Very good place. What he realized though is that he was getting pulled in too many directions at the same time, owning two delis, so he chose the more profitable one, which was the Yaphank deli, and he closed this one in Wading River. Now he's getting older, his wife's getting older, and traveling over to Yaphank at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning to start making breakfast and everything is getting too taxing. So his plan is to close the Yaphank deli and reopen this one here in Wading River, where it's closer to his house and it's a lot easier of a commute.
How, he's closed 2-3 years, you say?
He's very sketchy about when exactly it had closed.
Okay.
I couldn't get.
And how long did he have this property? How long did he own this property for? How long did he run the deli for?
I believe it's been 2014 that he bought it. No, it can't be. The property's really. 1988. Oh, it's 1988, sorry.
So he bought the property in 1988?
Yes.
And at what point did he start functioning as a deli?
Immediately, 1988.
Immediately. Was it a deli before when he bought it?
Oh, it's been a deli since at least 1961, as evidenced by the aerials that I handed in. But I had spoken to the man over at the Wading River Historical Society, and he actually said the place had been built like around 1925. So I mean, this has been what it is now for a very
So,
long
yeah, so the property is like really, you know, off the beaten path. I mean, I know it's on North Country Road, which is a main road, but it's predominantly a residential neighborhood. I mean, by far, I mean, I don't know of any other commercial properties on that area,
there's
except for the
one.
restaurant.
Yeah, there's Michael Anthony's,
Right.
which would have later hours than the deli would be
Right.
open. And then there's also the High Neighbor, there's an apartment building also, which I thought
Right
was
next
unusual
door.
right there.
Now, you
So
feel
it's
there's
not-
enough population in the area to sustain a deli?
In the booklet I handed out, I think it's a few pages in, there's actually a traffic study there that puts us around close to 2,666 cars per day. Oh, sorry, 3,866 people.
Cars per day?
Cars per day that pass that,
Right.
on that road right there.
So what were the hours of operation, like intended, for, you know, if he was to reopen?
I'm thinking like 6 to 4, 6 to 5, 6 to 4, somewhere. So he would be closed before dinner time. I'll close to 7.
Seems to be a lot of work that has to be done there to bring it up to, say, operational state. I mean, you realize that, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. But like if you guys would ever care to visit the Outback Deli, he keeps a nice store. The properties, the lot's clean. He runs a clean business. He cares. And especially if it's in his own neighborhood.
No?
Anything else, Frank? You go to the audience.
So the reason why he closed it originally was because he was torn in two directions between this one and the Yaphank
Yes.
site. You know, I know 3,000 sounds like a lot of cars traveling. But how many of those cars are actually going to stop,
Well, he also
you know,
has
for a
catering.
sandwich or something, you know?
He also
when-
has a catering business
You know,
that, so that would make up any,
so he would cater out of the place?
well, carry out catering.
Carry
Yeah.
out catering. Yeah. The part that really, you know, is sticking with me is that I know the history of the place, going back to, like, you know, I'm not disputing the fact that it goes back to the 60s as far as being an operational deli, but it hasn't been in existence for 3 years now, and it's such a quiet residential area. I'm not necessarily sure it's suitable for that location any longer. And what would you actually say to me to convince me otherwise?
Like this one, please?
Sorry?
Sure. Wait, I'll swear him in.
Yeah.
Please raise your right hand. Solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
Please state your name and
My name
address.
is John Weiss.
John?
Weiss. Address Post Office Box 674, Farm, New York, 11727. We have at the situation is a practical difficulty in the fact you're pointing out that the usage is limited in the number of people that's going there. The Steckler family owns the property since the 80s. They're aware what the traffic is, and he's aware of how much business he was doing prior to going into his new location. That building cannot be utilized for anything else. You want it to become a blight as far as the front is concerned. The building cannot be turned into a house because of the fact that it's CO'd or existing use as a commercial building. In order to convert it to a house, it has to pass the New York State Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code, the International Code, New York State version, and at that particular point, we would need a HERDS test, and that building would have to be completely remodified, re-altered, at a tremendous expense for the owner. if the owner of the property, who is going to be owning and operating the deli, is looking to invest his money to stay there, since he's already invested his money to buy the property, the worst-case scenario is he doesn't survive. But it's his money. The building's sitting there and not being utilized in any way.
Isn't a portion of the property already used for residential use though, sir?
Excuse me?
Isn't a portion of the property
Yes.
already used for residential use?
Yes, but that does not negate the New York State Code. New York State Code says the fact that the beginning or the entryway onto that property is a commercial venture. That commercial building does not adhere to the New York State Residential Building Code for any sort of modification. It is already established.
What exactly doesn't conform to the code?
Excuse me?
What exactly doesn't conform to the code?
The building today does not.
The building that you're
today does not
here
conform
before
to
us
the
for.
1995 or the 2015 New York State Energy Code.
Well, any piece of property in a residential area is gonna be the same.
That's 100%
Situation.
correct, except the fact that as a commercial venture, he does not have to modify that. If you make him convert that into a house or part of a living area, he has to conform to the 2015 New York State Code. So yes, a house next door that was built 5 years ago does not have to conform to the 2015 code. This building built in 1925, the changing of the commercial area into a residential area, he has to conform to today's codes. There is no subject for review or variance from that. He has to put in the money, and at that particular point, that property becomes a useless piece of property.
Has the owner thought about selling the property?
Excuse me?
Has the owner thought about selling the property?
Why?
I'm just asking him, what would happen, what would happen if we were not to grant the?
What would happen?
Yeah.
You only have a piece of blight on your hand after a short while, you'll have violations. If you go through the record from the town of Riverhead, from the time he bought the property, or if you go back to the time of the initial letter, there is no violation on that property for not being maintained. The man is maintaining the property with the aspiration of one day going back into there.
That
The fact
property
that it's a bit
today is,
sooner.
you're reflecting,
Excuse me?
the pictures today, that property is being maintained, is that what you're saying?
If you look at the front of that building, that picture is taken on,
Well, we were there, we were
Yeah.
there.
yeah,
Well, the fact remains that somebody knew that this was gonna expire, and it expired. Now we have a problem because it's a non-conforming pre-existing use, and, I don't know, we're listening to what you have to say.
I mean.
To me, the building doesn't look like it's been maintained, that's not my privy, but just seeing it. The house behind it doesn't look like it's being maintained, so,
We're talking an engineering standpoint.
On an engineering standpoint,
Okay, I
it's-
mean, you know,
whether
as
it's
far as-
commercial or residential, it needs to be safe, correct?
Are you saying the back of the building has to be painted or something like that?
no, I'm
No,
just
no,
saying
we're-
the
no, no,
property
we're
in general
going-
doesn't look like it's being maintained. I'm not talking about engineering, I'm just looking with my two eyes.
Well, we have a point of disagreement, I guess, on
That's
that one.
fine, that's why
I mean,
we're talking.
Any structure that was going to be purchased and reused for whatever would have to apply, would have to bring themselves up to current code. So,
Excuse
I'm
me?
not really,
No. If I bought the house that was built in 1927 and I moved into it, I don't have to bring it up to
if
today's
you're gonna do
specifications.
renovation work to it, you would.
I do not, if I'm doing renovation to a house built in 1927, I do not have to meet the standards of today. If I put an addition on that house, I have to meet today's standards. I also have to meet the standards for part of the addition and have a res check and a HERS.
Yeah, I understand that, but it currently looks like a storefront, sir, so obviously there would have to be modifications done to it if it was going to change back to being a residential use.
It's not just the storefront, it's also the interior. You have to put in all new installation. You have to go to the new specifications. You have to rebuild that entire front of the building to the 2015 standard. If I buy a house and I do a remodeling inside. I can take down walls, I can reassemble walls. As long as I don't go down and go back down and just have the stick framing, I don't have to adhere to 2015. If I change 4 windows in a house, and there's only a 7-window house, then I have to adhere to the new energy code as
But
far
you're
as
talking
windows
really,
are concerned.
with hers, you're talking about a few windows, and you're talking about insulation, sir. What else are you talking about?
So the $1,350 for the HERS inspector to go out, what about a view installation? Also have to change the doors, you have to change everything in that house to make it airtight.
Right, so a few doors, a few windows, and insulation. What else are you talking about?
I'm talking about the $45,000 bill it's gonna cost to do that.
Well, you have some kind of proof to back that up?
You'd like to put it on hold and we come back with that, I'd gladly do it.
Okay. That would be great if you could do that, yeah.
No problem.
All right. Is there anyone else to be heard on this matter? Please come forward. Please raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Please state your name and address.
My name is Robert Bine. I currently reside at 2876 North Wading River Road, right across the street from the property in question.
Okay.
I petition against the approval of the variance for several reasons, a couple of which just came up in the discussions from Mr. Weiss. He talks about it potentially being a blight on the community if it wasn't turned into a business. I've lived there across the street from it directly for 5 years, and honestly, it's already a blight. And you've obviously seen the property, which you've mentioned earlier. And so I see that being that way now. There are several things that I'm concerned about. One of them is we purchased our home 5 years ago for the reason that Mr. Seabrook mentioned about it being a quiet community. I also agree with you that I don't think the traffic that goes through there is really going to support the sustainability of the business. Being a business owner and an entrepreneur, I see it being an investment that would soon go south and turn back into an unoccupied building. But my biggest concern of anything is the safety in that part of the community, because I know the building, because I see it many times every day, and I'm concerned about access and egress of parked cars and traffic. If you look to the east, as I'm sure you've seen, it's a blind curve on North Wading River Road that comes right up against that building. A car really doesn't have the ability to turn around once it's parked there. It's an accident waiting to happen. Furthermore, to the east side, you have a steep drop in grade in the road to the point where a small car is unseen until it comes up on the hill. Another reason that I think there could be a potential for an accident. The people who live in the house immediately next door to it have young children. So for these reasons, also along with the quiet in the community that I purchased when we came here, I petition against the variance.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Anyone else? Please step forward. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Solemnly swear.
Name and address, you can pull that mic down so it's easier to talk.
My name is Summer Hark, and I live across the street on North Wading River Road from the now-closed deli. I lived in this residence since 1989, in which the deli was open and operating for business, then shut its doors in 2005 and has not been operating since. Now the deli would like to reopen its doors. This deli does not belong in this beautiful residential community. An operating deli on this road is a public safety hazard due to its 2.5-car pull-up parking lot and its hidden location from the road. I may stress that North Wading River Road is a residential road and it's not a business strip. According to the town of Riverhead, the owner's proposed deli lies in District RB80, which is a residential district. According to the town law, article clearly states that RB80 is a low-density, single-family residential development and encourages the protection of prime agricultural soils where appropriate. Permitted uses under Article 301/28 are agricultural production, including but not limited to field stock, livestock, Christmas tree farms, commercial horse boarding operations, etc. Nowhere in this town code does the stipulation say that a deli should be permitted in the area of this beautiful residential community. I fully understand the owner is asking for a variance from the town, but I will go on to state why the business should remain closed. The deli is nestled between two residential homes with a property line of barely 10 feet in each side. In front of the deli structure sits a drive-up parking lot for cars to pull up and park. There is no turnaround for these cars to exit this business. A patron of the deli must reverse his or her car out of the pull-up and reverse onto the oncoming traffic. The road in front of the deli has a solid double yellow line. The line is illegal to cross and has been put there for a reason. The road is dangerous. Cars cannot see the oncoming traffic when backing out, and they may reverse onto oncoming traffic. It's a possible accident waiting to happen. North Wading River Road has changed a lot in the last 13 years. The parking lot for this business cannot accommodate the road. There is much more traffic than there was 13 years ago. Additionally, the speed limit of 30 miles an hour is regularly exceeded, and cars travel at speeds of 50 or 60. There will most likely be fatalities and injuries when patrons exit or enter the slot. The structure itself is located on a dangerous spot in the road. A driver traveling towards the east cannot see the deli lot. There is a bend in the road. Add this hazard to cars speeding and customers reversing, and it is an accident waiting to happen. Here is the bend in the road before the deli. Here is the deli looking west. Would you like me guys to bring these pictures up to you? And I have a picture of the deli taken 2 days ago in its dilapidated state.
Ma'am, when did you move? How long ago have you been living at, when did you purchase your property? I'm sorry.
I inherited the property. My parents owned it
What year?
since 1989. I inherited it in 2005.
Okay, and how, when did this deli close?
I believe it closed in 2005. There has been no activity in the front of the deli, no action, no nothing, no case customers. It's been closed since 2005.
Thank you.
The building has been abandoned. Well, I know the owner is here, but in the past, North Wading River Road has been used to accommodate parking for the deli. The building's lot can only accommodate a very limited number of cars. When the lot fills, where are these additional cars going to park? These cars will park on the side of the road in front of private residences. I know this because I've lived in my home since 1989. Cars cannot park illegally on the sides of roads. These are the conditions under normal circumstances. The problems could become much worse during the summer and holidays. As my neighbor mentioned, I also must stress that young children live on either side of the deli. School buses make daily morning and afternoon stops to pick up young elementary school-age children. These school buses stop right next to the deli on both sides, and these buses could block the vision of cars backing out of the lot and endanger the children getting off. I highly urge you guys to consider to deny this request. A deli just does not belong in this neighborhood. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else to be heard?
The representatives of the owners, one of you step up again, please? So this lady that lives across the street just testified that the deli closed in 2005, yet the beginning of your presentation, you testified that the deli only closed about 2 or 3 years ago.
You want to ask the owner?
Sure, is the owner here?
The deli's been closed about 3-4 years.
So he said, she said.
Excuse me, why don't you step up to the mic and we'll swear you in, all right? Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? So help you God. Please state your name and your address.
Jürgen Steckler, 2897 North Wading River Road, Wading River, New York.
When did you close your deli, sir?
It's about 4 years. Because I had, that deli was, somebody else ran it, because I
Somebody else ran it?
Excuse me?
Did you just say somebody else ran it?
Yeah, I had sold it to someone else, because I had a deli here in Riverhead for 5 years or more.
I thought you had another place in Yaphank.
I went to Yaphank after Riverhead.
He's an entrepreneur.
I've been in the deli business ever since I came to this country, 1956. Served 4 years in the service, And I live in Wading River since 1988. I had that deli. We did very good business. There's no question that it can't make it. It's not me that closed it up. It was somebody else who doesn't put in the work that's
When
supposed to
did
be
you
put in.
close it up, sir?
Sorry?
Do you have any kind of financial records or any kind of business records that could indicate that somebody else took it over from you and was running it up until 2 or 3 years ago? Do you have any kind of legal documentation to prove that?
I have, I think I have a lease at home from the person that had it for a while.
Okay, so we're gonna need to definitely see that next time.
And I mean, my neighbor across the street arguing with the traffic, well, there's a deli around the corner on Holz Avenue. It's the same situation. They even got less parking than me. And that's an even more busier road. So I think it wouldn't be just me that,
So there has to be some kind of financial record or some kind of legal record indicating that you owned the property, yet you rented or leased it to another deli owner, and
Right.
it was in operation up until 2 or 3 years ago. Can you provide us that documentation?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, is there anyone else?
Can I continue?
Sure, go up, Mr. Weeks.
Thank you.
Sir, I'm sorry, sir, that would be tax returns. Okay?
Tax returns?
Tax returns, yes,
What
For your
kind of tax?
business.
for your business.
My business or the one that had it before me?
Well, if
I
you
mean, the one
leased
that I
it-
sold.
If you leased it, there has to be some kind of tax return indicating you leased it to another business, correct?
I don't know. I just have a lease that they signed.
Well, we need to see all of that. Well, anything you can bring in would be great.
Go ahead, Mr. Weeks.
Okay, so far we have not enough business, and we have too much business. We have not enough traffic, too much traffic. I did run, but have not received back from Suffolk County or Riverhead Police, just in case any kind of overlapping of any type of accidents along that right-of-way. That's why I have the New York State Department of Traffic record showing the traffic in that area. So whether the traffic increased 13 years ago, 5 years ago, or 3 years ago, there's no record on file in Riverhead Police Department or in Suffolk County Police Department. I know they don't have jurisdiction, but in case there was a fatality, I figured we might as well check both. And we show no records of any accidents happening in the area. So it's an accident waiting to happen since this deli opened up, as far as we can prove, 1961. So that accident, yes, is still waiting to happen. And so is I am waiting to win the lotto. I'm not trying to be facetious, it's just, I lost again yesterday, so brought it up. We're coming back. I would like the board to signify to us exactly what you want us to bring with us. I'm going to bring in an estimate from a contractor after they view the property as far as what it would cost to convert that to a house, as far as the front of the building.
I think the records that Mr. Seabrook asked for, that, we want to know from you, sir, your.
Well, as far as,
The legal and
return.
the tax
Lease.
documentation.
that would be
indicate-
more than, that's all you're looking for then?
Right now, yes.
And, yeah, and also you quoted a $40,000 number to bring the house up to her standards. I'd like to see that number also.
Besides her standards, are habitable condition space standards under the New York State Building Code.
Provide us those numbers, sir.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Oh, wait, maybe.
Okay.
They still got people on the phone.
One person. We'll take you, and then I'll make a statement here.
There's more people.
Please, you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name and the address.
Josephine Mikowski, P.O. Box 108, Wading River. I was born in 1961. My parents owned a home in Wading River since 1949. We summered there. We grew up in Brooklyn. We came every summer. I know the owners from when I was a kid, and it was a deli. But there's a lot of different demographics going on there now. When we were kids, most of the people that stayed there didn't have any vehicles. For example, my mother would get dropped off there. My father would go to work Monday through Friday and then come back. They didn't have cars. They walked to the deli. There weren't as many houses that lived there full-time. So there's a lot of differences going on. I can't tell you exactly when that closed, but that did close around 2005 because unfortunately my mom died that year, so I kind of remember that deli being there. And I did like the convenience of having a deli a couple of blocks from your house. However, like these people were stating, there are young children, and no, there's not been a fatality. However, Summers House, there was a car that went into their property and drove in there. I don't know if there's record. I don't know if the police have that record from, I think it was 1989 or 90. It was probably right when her parents had bought the house. So there's a lot of things that have changed and changed the situation. As to getting a property up to standards, anyone would have that for a house or a business of 1927. As I understand, I found this out from an old couple from Wading River. They said that, I think it was the Millers owned it back when, and they also owned down by Wildwood State Park. There was a old luncheonette there. Well, there was a lot of things that were there, but this has not been a business, and per the town code, the variance has to be approved, and we're making a statement that way. The other deli has never gone out of business. I know in the winter that they always had a hard time at that used to be called the Wildwood Deli. I don't know what it was called in between and the interim. So I really would like that to be looked into, and I think you guys are doing a good job at finding out and getting information. And anyone wants to contact me, I would definitely give you what I know and any kind of questions. So.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Or can I just have a minute for rebuttal to Mr. Stapler's comments?
Sure. Step right up. Yeah. Well, there's another man that needs to be heard first. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, you, I said.
Yeah.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
So help me God.
Please state your name and address.
My first name is Adrian Hark. I live right across the street. I'm married to a very passionate woman. I was married in 2010, and I moved into that house in 2010, and the deli wasn't open then.
It wasn't.
Wasn't open in 2010, so I know that it's at least 10 years. But I'm the last person that wants to tell somebody how to dispose of their own personal property. But this is a particular situation where it affects more than just the surrounding people. In terms of fatalities, there was a child that was struck and killed by a car just down the road in a summer community when a ball rolled out into the street. You can look on Riverhead Patch.
Yes, I'm aware of the situation.
That's not something we want to have happen again, and this is something that we can definitely at least mitigate here. The other thing is it's RB8, zoned RB80. If a variance were to be issued, I would assume that the property would need to be brought into code to the nearest commercial zoning,
Yes.
which would indicate that you would have to have 20%, no more than 20% of your parking in the front. If it's zoned for business CR, commercial community center, is that what it is? Community center? I don't know. I think it's a business CR.
Business, country, rural.
Country
CR.
rural.
Country rule, right?
Yes.
And that's no more than 20% of your parking in the front.
Yeah. Well, let the other gentleman be heard too.
And additionally, that also, according to, if it's brought to that, if the property needs to be brought to that zoning code, it would also have to have landscape in the front.
Either way, there's going to be a cost, so.
Right.
That's right, exactly.
What
so
I'm
I
saying
agree.
is,
Yes,
you know what I mean?
absolutely.
Whether, take your pick of your poison.
Yes.
That's really all I wanted to,
Good.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you very much.
You want to have something? I'll take you, and this will be the last comment, and then I've got a statement to make, and we'll see where we go.
Sure, rebuttal, just,
You've been sworn in, so
Yes, thank you. Just to go to Mr. Stakler's point about another deli in the area that has similar access and egress, there are several major differences in the access and egress situation of that deli. Number one, across the street, there are not residential homes. There's a state buffer, and that buffer is on the backs of other homes. Secondly, and more important than anything, is you have unlimited visibility on a straight road in either direction for approximately 400 to 500 yards. And thirdly, you're right on the corner of a small street that gives the cars the ability to make a turn, either a U-turn with unfettered access or to go down the side street. So it is a sizable difference, and I think enough to show that there's a difference in the safety issue of access and egress.
Very good
Very good.
information. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What I'd like to do is that, you can see we're a small board tonight. There's 3 out of 5 people here. The next meeting is the first week in January, which I would like to adjourn this to, and more members will be present, and they'll review, and we'll hear some of the stuff again, and we'll also look into more things. Because, you know, it's like you said, this person says this and this person says that. And I agree with what you said, because I frequent that deli that you talked about. The side street, the parking across the street, no residential, and there's probably spaces for 4 or 5 cars in the front, and there's a driveway on the north side of it that goes in the back. So I'd like to do that. So what's the meeting date in Jan? Go ahead.
So there's a few things that we're asking for. Your tax returns indicating that you were leasing or renting the property to somebody else and they had an active business going. You would also have a yearly health department inspection, correct? No, if there was an active deli on the premise, you would have a record of a yearly health department inspection also. And yeah, that's it. Those 2 things, as well as your HERS information on bringing that property up to residential code, what that would cost. That would be great also.
The problem
Excuse me?
I see
Yeah.
Go to the mic, please.
is, I do not know if he has maintained the records of the inspections, and they will be subject to FOIL from Food Services.
Well, the health department would have them.
FOIL, sir. They
Yeah, well,
don't-
so that's your job to provide them to us, correct?
The problem with the Suffolk County Health Department right now, it takes 3 weeks for them to acknowledge that they have received your application, and then it's a 6 or 8 week response after that to give you the reports that you asked for.
Sir, I believe this board will extend you the courtesy and giving you the available time you need in order to provide us this information.
It's where, I mean, January the 11th is 4 weeks away. I mean, I can come in with proof that way.
How-
I
Madam
don't know
Town Attorney,
long-
how much time can we
I
give
don't
this
know how
guy to
long
reasonably
I don't know how long Food Services
produce the,
will last.
I mean, they have to respond whether they have the record or not in 5 days, that's the law. So the health department has an obligation to let them know within 5 days, and then they have to produce the record within a reasonable time. So,
Why
you
don't
know,
they try, right?
so they can indicate to you that they've filed it.
If you could indicate to us when you filed, and if you could show us, you know, maybe that, you know, because of, not because of because it's the health department, that you need to maybe adjourn it to another meeting,
That's easy.
that's fine, yeah, okay. You just provide us the documentation,
Yes.
and we'll give you the time that the health department is taking to provide us this information.
They have to respond within 5 to 10 days that they receive, but they don't. And then they have to respond in a reasonable time. And right now, my request from Freshwater and from Food Services on my other projects have been taking 6 to 8 weeks total. So, but I can ask.
So they come back.
Well, I mean, you know, it's gonna be impossible for us to make a decision
Yeah, I know.
if you don't have that information. It's not gonna be favorable to you if you can't provide us that
And
information.
you don't want to take a chance on a
Oh, no, no,
3-member board
I'll make
tonight.
the applications, and I'll demonstrate to you
Yeah.
that I've made the applications, and I'll give you their response, and I'll bring everything I can. And, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I was very fortunate for my Japanese noodle place. Went in, filed a FOIL, and the young lady behind the counter said,
So,
sit down. And
okay.
she typed, and
Well, if
called me
you-
back, and she gave me all the information on the spot.
if you keep our office abreast of what's going on and the documentation that you get along the way, we'll definitely work with you as far as however long it takes to
We're
provide
gonna
it.
move it to January 11th.
Okay, but for now, we're going to adjourn this meeting for appeal number 17-67 to January 11th.
Second.
And please note that the calendar starts at 6:30
All
according to the
favor?
paper.
Aye.
Aye. All right, so we'll see you on the 11th.
Yep.
And everyone that came tonight, thank you for coming.
Assessor's card. Just a little information, what they.
There's too many Fs, you never knows what part you're going to. And that deli that the guy brought up at the end, I know that deli, that Wildwood Deli, no residential. I have to leave, take a medication, and I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
Oh, I know, yeah.
I was like, he's giving you the,
You know.
The survey's gotta go back.
What do you want?
The survey?
Oh. Oh, hold on. Who gets it?
It's gonna go back in the folder.
it'd be interesting to see the assessor's card,
Yeah, the what?
the assessor's card, because are they still being taxed commercial?
Right.
When is that, like they,
I mean, 2000, 2-3 years, 2005, that's a big difference.
that's a really,
Yeah, so somebody's not being honest,
yeah, it's 13 years.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
I mean, you get why the guy would like to do it, but at the same time, zoning, the reason we have zoning is to eliminate these not.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens,
Yeah, exactly. And then what do you, I guess you'd have to get like a site plan.
What's that?
I guess you'd have to get like a site plan to be able to.
There is none.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
It's a little tiny, I mean, I was just looking at it.
Yeah.
I gotta go to this.
Yeah. And you see that turn?
Yeah.
That's what that person testified about, the
This is
turn.
where my uncle used to live.
Yeah.
You see this guy?
It's so close to the next door neighbor too. Yeah.
I guess he didn't like the parking. So he put up his little sign.
Yeah. We have a few more minutes, please bear with us. We just- Thank you.
Yeah, read the stamp. I mean, like you said, you don't know. There's definitely some record somewhere that they.
Actually, if he's gonna go to the bathroom, I might as well go too.
I'll hold down the phone.
I'll be right back, Mr. Chairman.
I have to take a low blood sugar lozenge. Just good things, when you're getting older, you get these things. All right. I'd say there were a lot of untruths in that. Michael said.
Yeah.
You know, when they measure, this is wood. You have to measure the setback to the wood. If it's concrete, you don't have to. You remember that?
Stairs,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We'll run it with it.
yeah.
Nice job. You're the investigator. You're the investigator. All right, so you wanna go?
Ready?
Please?
Okay. Appeal number 2017-66, Stacy Jones, 6 Birdie Court, Wading River, Suffolk County, tax map number 657-339, RB 80 zoning, for variances to and/or relief from the provisions of Chapter 301, Section 29A2, to legalize a fence 6 foot in height along the side street line where a maximum of 4 feet in height is permitted, and Chapter 301, Section 29A1A and B, to legalize a shed erected partially in front yard and in side yard 20 feet from street line where such shed is not permitted in front yard and minimum 40 feet from the side street line is required.
Ms. Jones, please step forward. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. State your name and your address.
Stacy Jones, 6 Birdie Court, Wading River, New York.
Tell us what you're here for.
You have the affidavits for us first, Miss?
Oh, the
Ms. Jones?
mailings,
Mailings, thank you.
you had, others were handed in.
Yes.
So I actually only received 6 returns, even though I sent out all 8. One of my neighbors, which live directly across the street, I believe she's in the process of selling, so she's never at home to receive the notice, unfortunately. And my other neighbor, Anthony Napoli, I actually spoke to him verbally. I'm not sure exactly why I didn't receive the return receipt, but he actually benefits from the situation, and I know he's okay with me doing the 6-foot fence, which separates both our property line.
Okay. What are you seeking?
So generally, when I purchased the property, the fence that's there now was there. We were not aware until we went into the situation to put up a 6-foot vinyl fence that it's about a foot or 2 off of the property line, which we're willing to fix and go onto the property line to go up on 6 feet. You guys took a drive by the sheds that are there. Yes, my address says 6 Birdie Court. It's the front of my property is actually not on Birdie Court. It's on Fairway Drive. The sheds aren't visible to the road unless you come around the corner. The 6-foot fence will actually help in them being not visible even more so.
I understand that it's got a side yard of 20, and they want 40 minimum front yard. It's got 41, so why is that in Brad's letter? Did you see that? They're talking about a 20 and a 40. She's got the 20, and she's got 41 on the sheds. So let's see,
Well,
unless he's got
I
a,
would like to say that your arborvitae's in the front of the shed kind of shield it nice, make it more
Yes.
private.
you know what I mean?
So you got a 4-foot fence there, now you're looking to make it 6 foot.
Yes.
Move it on the property line.
What kind of fence?
It's the white vinyl solid fence.
He's talking about this, so I guess it's, he's talking about this?
Yeah, it's 20 off the side.
Yeah, but it has to be 40.
No, it's
Just to
40
let you
off
guys
the
know, I'm
front.
sorry, I purchased a German Shepherd for my husband.
On the side.
I have flower beds that are raised, so when he gets up on there, for me, it's a kind of safety thing for him not to get over the fence as well. For my kids, privacy in the backyard, even though it's on the side of the road.
It's a funny
I got
lot
it from
because,
side street
because
here.
technically,
Side
you have
street.
2 front yards,
Yeah.
but you really have, I
Front
mean, you can only have 1 front yard, let's face it.
Right.
But, you know,
41.
because your side yard
This
is
the
really
front yard.
on a street, that's what the problem is, but, you know, German Shepherds could jump a 6-foot fence, you know?
Well, I hope not.
That's the side yard. It says-
Trying to make it a bit more difficult for him.
I have 9 papers. I don't know what
Yeah.
you have. Go to say front yard?
Front yard, a minimum of 40 from the side.
You got the different thing, this is the application, this is his letter. So she typed that. What did you say at the beginning about the front and the side yard?
So my address is 6 Birdie Court, but the front of my property, actually the entrance to my
Fairway.
property is on Fairway Drive. My driveway and the front of my house is
So
on
that's
Fairway
the front
Drive.
yard then?
Yes.
Yeah,
I've been out there, I know,
okay.
I'm just trying to, these instructions are different than what's on our agenda. Down here.
So she has like a.
On the
she has like
agenda,
a
it says
through lot.
40 on the side and 20 on the front. So this would be correct then.
You want-
Yep, my agenda has the same thing, 40 from the side and 20 from the front, and the application has 40 from the front and 20 from the side.
Side, so it's
This is correct,
this one.
okay? So I don't see what the hell the problem is.
It's just that she's got like such a strange lot, cause it goes like all the way through from Fairway to Birdie, and so, like her backyard is exposed to
Yeah.
the cul-de-sac.
Right.
So that's what I'm sure she's trying to,
Yeah. I mean,
I don't have any problems with the sheds at all.
like,
I mean, how long have you lived in a lot, man?
I purchased the house in 2011.
Yeah, so I mean, the previous owner obviously planted those arborvitaes, did a nice job of hiding the shed. Your side yard, which faces Birdie Court, is really your backyard. And in all honesty, I don't have a problem with the 6-foot fence.
Dawn? This is not right. This should be 40 from side street, or it's not permitted in front yard, a minimum from side streets.
Just so that you guys know, I'm not sure, I see you trying to figure it out in terms of the
it's
front
a-
and the side. So what they explained to me when I went for the variance to apply for it is that because my address says 6 Birdie Court, technically the side back of my property is the front of my property. So that's why they had to put it in there for me to get a variance, because my address says 6 Birdie Court. So they're considering the side back of my property as the front of my property. So they're saying my sheds
Which is really.
are on the front.
Yeah, meanwhile, your mailbox is to the left of your right of your driveway, right?
Yes.
Which is on Fairway.
and
That's
it says
correct.
6 on it. You can
Right.
see it from
Yeah, so, I don't believe this lady should be penalized for side,
I
front,
think if
whatever.
that's what they're saying in the building department, then that's, this
So
is
just read
written
that, let's see what-
correctly, yeah.
You want to switch the numbers?
So it's 20 from the yard, from the,
It's just the language we're
Side
going over
street.
right now, that's all.
so, and minimum 40 from the side street. Well, this,
We have to read it the way it is, 'cause that's the way it's
yes,
posted.
yes. Is this correct then?
Can you read, I think so, yeah.
Okay. And you said you're gonna move the fence onto your
On,
property?
onto the property line, yes.
And is that like a chain link with vinyl, or is it a solid vinyl fence?
It's a solid vinyl.
Nice German Shepherd, by the way. Okay. Any other questions for you guys?
No.
Anyone else to be heard? Okay. Who's got it?
I move that the determination for Stacy Jones at 6 Birdie Court, Wading River, tax map number 657-339, RB 80 zoning for variances to and relief from the provisions of Chapter 301, Section 29A2 to legalize a fence 6 feet in height along the side yard, a side street line where the minimum 4 feet height is permitted. And Chapter 301, Section 29A, 1A, and B, to legalize a shed erected partially in the front yard, in the side yard, 20 feet from the street line where the shed
is not permitted in front yard and a minimum of 40 feet from the sideline is required. Be granted in accordance with the application and the sketches with amendments thereto, if any, if filed with the building inspector.
Second.
Ms. Worthington?
Aye.
Mr. Seabrook?
Aye.
And I vote aye, so your variance has been granted. Good luck. Merry Christmas.
Frank, you just have to get back the,
This goes to. Okay. Excuse me?
It'll be in the
When
building
you go
department.
back to the building department, it'll be square.
Okay. Ms. Carissa?
Lastly. Appeal number 2017-67, Dominic Rosselli, 34 Oak Drive, Riverhead, Suffolk County Tax Map number 600-65-115, RA 40 zoning for variances to and/or relief from the provisions of Chapter 301, Section 11 for a dwelling with proposed impervious surface coverages of 36.7% of the total area, where the maximum permitted is 15%, a proposed front yard setback of 35 feet where the minimum required is 50 feet, a proposed side yard setback of 10 feet where the minimum required is 25 feet, a proposed combined side yard of 20 feet where the minimum required is 55 feet, and proposed rear yard setback of 17.8 feet where the minimum required is 60 feet.
Good evening. Charles Cuddy at 445 Griffin Avenue, Riverhead, New York. I appear for the applicant, Mr. Roselli. Oak Drive is a road that's on the west side of Doctor's Path. There have been a number of cases on before you in connection with this type property. I'd like just to hand up the tax map so you can see exactly the site.
These are yours also, Carissa, for your record. You have one? You have one?
The lots on the north side of the road are basically small lots. They're 50 by 98.75. There was a variance for this very lot that's before you now in 206, was your appeal number 0678. And it's very similar to what the applicant is here asking for. So again, I'd like to hand that up to you so you can just have it in front of you. The variance granted in 206 had a front yard setback of 35 feet, which is the same as the applicant here is asking for. It had a rear yard of 21.5. Ours is 17.8 because the house is slightly larger. The side yards there were 10, the same as the applicant here has. The combined side yards in the 206 determination were 26 feet. Here it's 20 feet. The house is somewhat larger, so that's why the variance is just a little bit different. But similar variances were also granted by this board in June 2007 to two of the lots on this street, one of which is 26 Oak Drive and the other is 54 Oak Drive. And I also would hand up that determination. All these variances are a result of configuration of the lots, which again are small. You can't build on them unless there is a variance granted. I would suggest to the board that there's certainly no change in the character of this area, the neighborhood, based on building a house that's on exactly the same size lot as everybody else's house is on. There's virtually no alternative but to request a variance. which the board has granted, as I say, at least 3 occasions before. And certainly, there's no environmental aspect that's adverse to the neighborhood because it's just a house in an area where houses are to be built. And as far as the self-created hardship, it's difficult to believe that when the zoning creates a hardship, that's self-created, because the zoning here is R80, R40, and the size lots are under 6,000 square feet. So there's really no alternative to build except to have a variance.
Mr. Cuddy, what's the average side yard setback on that street, do you know offhand?
Based on what I have before me, I would think it's 10 feet on one side and probably 15 on the other side.
Or less. Some of them really got less than 10.
It looks to me that it's hard to tell. You go down the street, some houses seem very close to the line, some are a little bit further in. But overall, I think this is really the same application as this board approved, basically, in 2006, on the very same line.
Anybody else here? Okay. Please step up.
Are you both going to speak?
Yes.
Okay, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Please state your name and your address individually.
One at a time, yeah.
Christine Ruland. I live at 35 Beatrice Avenue, West Islip, New York. I own the property that's next door to where he wants to build the house. And my daughter lives there with her fiance and the children. And
Are you the daughter? I'm sorry.
yeah,
Oh,
that's my
okay,
daughter.
all right.
I live at 30 Oak Drive.
Okay.
Riverhead.
Yeah.
Now, the plans that he's showing is that the way it's looking is like it's going on an angle and on the survey, and he's saying that I don't own the property on that angle, but I have a fence that's 10 feet from the sideline. It goes, 10 feet from the side of the house, and I actually have 12 feet.
Well, he, the survey that he's providing us with the proposed residence is parallel to the property line. It's not on any angle or anything.
On this paper, it's showing that my fence is on an angle. But I actually have, that fence starts at 10 feet. So I actually have 2 feet over that,
Yeah, I have that.
because I'm supposed to have 12 feet on each side.
I'm sorry, are you saying that your fence is on his property?
No, he's saying that my fence is on his property.
Same, yeah.
Yeah, that would be the same.
And it is, right? According to the survey?
Can I see the survey? I didn't see the
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Well, he actually came to my house last week and he was talking to my fiance, and they took a tape measure and measured it where my fence is actually supposed to be.
You're right.
No.
And it's not on his property line.
Well, we have a survey stamped by a licensed surveyor.
Excuse me, Frank?
Yeah.
Are you on which side are we talking about, east or west?
I guess this side.
East?
They're on the right side of him. And
Oh,
the
so you're
other
on the east
is a
side.
trailer.
So you're on the east side.
I guess so, east, west, whatever.
Then that can't be this one.
And I can't-
What's your last name?
Ruland.
You're at 30 Oak Drive?
Yes.
It's this
I'm
one.
the owner
Do you
of
have
the house.
2 driveways there in the
Yeah.
front?
Who is Betty and Douglas Houston?
They don't own the trailer anymore. They sold it.
So that's your property
That's your
though?
property?
No,
No?
the other side is.
So you're on the
Really?
west side?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You're on the west side?
Yes, yes.
And according to this survey,
Yes, yes, the west side, yes, the.
according to this
east side
survey,
is the
your
trailer.
fence is on their property, according to this survey that we're looking at here.
But like I said, he just came last week to that empty lot, and he was talking with my fiance. My fiance and him took the tape measure and measured it, and he said, yes, your fence needs to come over more. It's not crooked. So I don't know what's
So your
up with
fence
this
needs to come over
survey.
more, meaning that it's on his property and it needs to come over back onto your
No,
property?
it's
No,
on
I-
our property and it needs to go over on
It needs to
more
go
to the
more
other
towards
side,
his
because
side,
I have
another
12
2
feet on that side.
All right, time out.
All right.
I have a survey by Nathan Taft Corwin, who's a licensed surveyor, and you're saying that you live on the west property line, and according to this survey by a licensed surveyor, he's saying that your fence is on this person's property.
How can it be when I have 12 feet?
Yeah, we have 12
Just
feet.
show the
I
survey.
have,
Surveys.
a survey that I got from the town,
Bring it
and
up,
it was
Rick.
sealed. And I'm supposed to have 12 and 12. If you add up 12 and 12 and the size of the house, it's 50.
Well, let's have it.
This is you?
Yes, that's my
And this
house.
is the property we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you just look at this? This is the survey we got. And this is, you're saying this is
So
your
it's
fence?
this side.
Yes,
Sure.
but
This is the one that
right
we're
here
talking
where the
about.
fence
No, the west
starts
side is
out,
this side.
it's at 10.
Yeah, but this is.
I'm supposed to
That's the
have
east side, this is the
12,
west
so
side.
I'm
This is
actually
north.
supposed to be over another 2 feet.
That's, she's on this side.
She's on the-
So,
So we're
but
talking
if you
about this
came
fence.
to my house and
Right,
you
so-
measured and put a stake in there, you can
That's-
see that the
No, that I
fence is straight.
understand, but the surveyor, you know.
That's
they-
why I say, I don't know what this survey's doing,
Well, this survey is old, doesn't show 10 or 12 or anything on it, just
It's
shows
easement
you the
It says
house.
12.
It's
This
what?
just shows.
No, not,
That's not even
that.
feet on the survey.
That's not the right one.
That's your fence.
No, I'm talking about
Okay,
this.
so I have another
I
question for
understand,
you.
but it's like-
Mr. Cuddy, I'm sorry to interrupt you, ma'am. Is there an easement on that west property line?
No, it's on the north side.
The right of way?
Right.
That's on the north property line. Okay, so ma'am, we have a licensed surveyor from the New York State Office of Professions indicating that your fence is on their property.
But it's not, if you come to my house and you measure from my house and you put a stake, you will see that it goes, you can see
It seems like
clear
they're trying
straight.
to take our property away from us. And that property was auctioned off. We wanted to buy that property. And on the pamphlet that you get, that property was 49 feet
49
by
point
98 point something. It wasn't even
wasn't
50
even
feet.
50.
And one of the other investors says, I don't know how he's gonna even be able to build on 49 feet.
Because it used to be a dirt road, and I guess as they built houses and stuff like that, trailer was never like that way. It used to be like, I think,
All right,
facing
so-
another way.
Excuse
So I
me.
think along the way, people
So
lost.
you're disputing the validity of this survey is what you're saying?
Yeah.
So,
I have
Wait a
50
minute,
feet,
are
how
you
are they
on-
saying it doesn't?
Excuse me, hold it. Gilliam is on our survey, is that the lot that you're on?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not your name?
It's in my name.
Oh, okay,
I
so,
did a
but
short
that's the
sale
lot
on
we're
that
talking
house.
about. I'm gonna put a big X on there, because
do you have a survey for your property?
No, we didn't get a survey when we did the short sale. They said that we didn't need it.
Because that one was valid.
well, this one is valid, but
I mean, you know,
But it's
The
old.
one that I get, but if you add up,
This is the
added
same
up 12,
No.
12, and
This is
my,
the
the
same
length
one.
of my house, it adds
oh,
up to
that's
50.
an old one, has no side setbacks.
And what size house is he building there? 40 feet wide?
no, it's 10 on one side, 10 on the other, so it's a 30-foot wide by 40 feet deep.
Wow. But I'm supposed to have 12 feet on my side, and I want my 12 feet. 'cause
Well,
that's what I
we have no survey to prove what you're saying.
You're
'Cause
gonna have to have a
we're looking at
survey
the applicant's
made.
survey. Do you have a survey to prove?
I just gave
What-
it to you.
No,
It's
but you
got
need
nothing
something
on it.
current, because that doesn't show the fence
This
or
is the
anything.
one I have. This is what I got when I did the short sale.
Right, so it doesn't, it's not current.
No, this one has the fence.
This is from 1989.
Yeah, it's old. It's almost 30 years old.
So you need to get it updated to, if you wanted to make this dispute with the neighbor who owns the property,
I have to get another survey.
you'd have to have it resurveyed.
Yeah.
I would think, I mean, it really has nothing to do with this board's decision-making.
But what's the difference from 90 till now? But heck, then that doesn't make
Because
sense.
their survey
If
is
I'm
new and it says you're.
This
how do you
survey-
know that's the same fence?
But if
You're
I
gonna
have
get, excuse
50
me, ma'am,
if I
you're
live on
gonna,
50
excuse me, you're gonna hire a survey and they're gonna give you a valid survey that's stamped, and whatever's on it, that's it. They're gonna measure it.
Oh, so you mean to tell me they'll take my fence and where it is now, and they're gonna take it from there and measure it?
Well, they're gonna
No,
take your
they-
property lines and they're gonna see if your fence is in the right location. Because technically, right now, according to this, from a licensed surveyor, your fence is on their property, they could take it down.
But it's not.
Well,
So you need to prove to us otherwise.
All right, then I'll get a survey.
You would have to
Yeah.
show, because you don't know if the survey you have from 90 is the same fence that's up now.
It's
Okay.
not.
There's no way of knowing.
It's not.
So if it
It's not.
isn't,
Now,
then
we just
that's
put that
not
fence
even,
up a few years ago.
so then that's why maybe whoever put it up just
You
hit
need
the
a
angle
survey
wrong.
for yourself. That'll clear up everything.
So
Your
just
own
have
survey.
somebody come and measure
Yeah,
my
you're gonna
house.
have
and
Yeah.
It's a
everything.
surveyor,
And
How
I'm
long
supposed
do
to have
you-
50 feet, right?
How long do you own a house? I'm sorry.
whatever your
How
deed
long
says.
did I own the house? When did I buy the house?
Would you ladies go back to the mic, please? We're getting a little off the beaten path here.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Jay? Longer than that.
So the fence was there prior to your ownership of the house, is that what you're saying?
No,
she
not the
just-
fence that's there now.
What, sorry, say that
Not the
again?
fence that's up now. He put that
What
fence
did she
up.
say?
Not that.
Not
You-
the fence.
You put the fence up.
He did, yes.
Okay, well,
When was this?
you need to provide us a survey proving us otherwise. And then we have a problem, because then we have two surveys that conflict with each other,
If they conflict.
if they conflict.
Where's the date on this here?
Where's that paper? No.
September 13th.
September 13th,
Of this
2000.
But then
So-
also, it's like, I feel like it's too close. You know, like, it's too close, I don't, like, have enough.
How far is your house from the
privacy.
property line? From what you know,
12 feet,
12 feet, so they're
It's
looking for
supposed to
10
be,
feet
but
from
it's
the
10.
property
So
line.
it's 22.
but I'd rather have my 12 feet.
So
Well,
your 12, so the 2-foot difference is a lot for you, is what I'm asking.
Well, no, the 12 feet
Well,
is
if
hers.
I
She
paid-
Yeah, if
measured it.
I mean,
No, if I bought the house and I'm
No.
supposed to have 50 by 98 point something, I want my property. You know,
No.
I don't want to be giving it to
Hold on.
nobody else.
Hold on, Mr. Cuddy is presenting to us a property that is, a structure that is 10 feet from the property line. And I'm asking you, how far from the property line is your house, which is right next door? You're saying 12 feet.
It's supposed to be 12 feet.
So you're saying 12 as opposed to 10?
No,
It's,
12.
the other side is 12.
Their house is from the property line.
So
which
you're,
is
you're
12.
talking about
Right.
22
Now you
feet
start at
total
the property
between
line
their
and
house
go
and
to
your
10
house.
for his house.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm
10.
saying that Mr. Cuddy's
12.
proposal is 10 feet from the property line, and your current existing house is 12 feet from the
So
property
it's
line.
22 feet.
22 feet distance between the two
It-
structures.
All I care about is from the property line.
Yeah.
So you're talking about a 2-foot difference. Because you already have 12 feet, and he's asking for 10. Correct?
On his property.
Correct?
Yeah, but he's saying that on that survey that it's only showing 10 feet.
That's what it is. His property is shown 10 feet setback.
He's showing the proposed house being built is 10 feet from his property line.
All right, I have to get this property surveyed.
Please.
Yeah,
You
I really-
cannot
I have
provide
to
us-
Because I can't,
You cannot provide us a reasonable argument
Uh-huh.
unless you could provide us a survey of where your house is located according to your property line.
Do you know how far the house on the opposite side of you is?
12 feet.
So,
it's actually a little more than 12 feet because they have their fence in a little bit
Yeah,
off
they
of the
want-
property.
no, the house,
No,
the house
fence
from the
right
property
next.
line,
What-
forget the fence.
We're only asking about property line to house, which is what Mr. Cuddy's asking.
12 feet.
12 feet,
So you have 12 feet also?
12 feet, 12 feet.
Next, I'm asking for the house on the other side, it's 12 feet from their property line, And so
And
there's
12
24 feet between her and the
And then
next door house.
The length of my house.
Okay,
12
so-
feet, 12 feet. and
So
the
let me get
length
this
of my
straight.
house, it
So,
adds up.
so hold on. So you're to the left of the property Mr. Cuddy's representing, correct?
Yes.
The house to the left of yours is 12 feet from the property line, correct? Mr. Cuddy's is to the right of your property line. He's asking for 12 feet, correct?
Just for 10.
10.
He's asking, I'm sorry, he's asking for 10. Okay. We're talking about 2 feet is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
That's at the end of the day. But you need to provide us a survey.
I'm gonna should turn around there.
Okay.
Okay, can we do this, because we're not gonna get anywhere
No,
tonight.
no,
It's
that's-
lovely
that's-
talking,
No, but
but,
I'm just saying, like, if you add 12 feet
now wait,
and 12 feet and the length of my house, it should be 50.
excuse me, ma'am. The only way we can settle this is having a survey on that property that will answer all questions. That's all, please. And I would like to adjourn it to January 11th, because you should be able to get a survey done within 4 weeks,
Certainly.
and we'd have an answer.
Okay.
I guess, but.
Mr. Cuddy, do you have anything further?
Well,
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
We're adjourning your appeal based on a property line dispute relating to a fence.
Say that
But we
again?
don't have the other piece of paper.
Well, she's raising,
She's saying it's too
she's
close.
raising the possibility that this survey is incorrect.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, so we want to validate it.
okay.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Mr. Cuddy, go ahead.
I have some concerns with what I just heard. These people bought at a short sale a few years ago. They must have had a description of the property. All of these lots are the same. They're identical lots. They're 50 by 98.75 feet. They're a subdivision. Each one of them is a separate subdivided lot. She also said, both of them said, they put the fence up, somebody did, within the last 4 years.
Right.
That doesn't give them anything. So even if the fence they claim was part of the property, it's not part of their property. It's a fence on our land. There's no question that the piece that we've given to you, the parcel, is a 50 by 98.75 parcel. And
I agree.
they don't have a claim. They just don't have that claim.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Acting Chairman, I agree with what Mr. Cuddy's saying.
That's
I'm
what I was
vice
saying.
chairman, I'm
They
not
have
an
a-
acting.
Mr. Vice Chairman, I agree with what Mr.
They
Cuddy's saying.
have a property line dispute potentially,
Right,
but that has nothing
To
to
do
do
with
with
the-
you.
right.
Because you,
But the property line dispute has nothing to do with the application.
I would agree with that.
So are we willing to vote?
and then they can duke it out if they want to
Right.
over where the fence is supposed to be located, but you know where the line is, and you know,
We don't have to
you know his line is
validate this.
X. The
Yeah.
only question you have to answer is whether the requested variance is similar to the, character of that in the neighborhood. I think if you look, they're all pretty similar. I mean, you can see it, right? You can see here. This is next door. This is
Yeah.
them. You know, you can-
Mr., yeah.
Just looking at-
so this is the one we're talking about, and this is the next one over, and they're all really tight.
Okay, no, they are tight, very tight. So,
So,
do
I
we
mean-
need to-
Consistent.
wait a minute, do we need to explain anything to the people? Whether-
I think if you would like me to explain it.
Yes, I would,
accept
please,
it.
and then we'll
Okay.
vote.
So just, the board is discussing the dilemma that's been raised by the neighbors relating to the potentially incorrectly located fence. But the variance application that your client is making is really unrelated to whether the fence is on the right side of the property or the wrong side. The board is gonna consider the application based upon, the size of your property, which is 50 foot, and their property is also 50 foot, or whatever it actually is, 49.98 or something. And so, I think the board would be wanting to leave that fence line dispute to you individual
yes.
property owners. It really is not related
To your
to
variance.
this application. So that's, I just want to make that clear. So what you would really want to have your property surveyed so that you can determine whether you have, maybe placed the fence over the line or not. But that's kind of between the two of you.
That's right.
Can I also say something else?
You have to come back to the mic, this is it.
I'm not disputing him building would be nice to have it not look at a high grass that's empty and nasty all the time. But I asked that, like, if he builds a house that, like, the windows aren't like directly next to my windows, you know, so I can have privacy.
Yeah, that's a separate issue, that's a completely separate issue, ma'am.
I don't think they'd do that anyway, because they
Okay,
probably
I'll
don't want
just-
their
He
window.
probably doesn't wanna see your house as much as you don't wanna see his house, you
And
know,
then
so.
also, I just wanted to know, like, what does he plan on doing with this house? Sell it, rent it?
It's not an issue for us, really.
Yeah.
Because, you know, there's like another house on the property that's rented. They said that there's only 2 people, like 2 adults, 2 kids. But if you went there at night, you would see like 10 cars parked in front of it.
Call
With
code
multiple
enforcement.
people living in there.
Call code enforcement. We don't have anything to do with that, ma'am,
Okay, I'm just saying,
Yeah, I
you know, I
understand.
live there, this is,
I sympathize.
I live there, I have issues, like, alright.
So you guys are gonna get your survey and talk to Mr. Cuddy. We're gonna go ahead with this variance.
So we're not coming back, we're gonna deal with
Yes,
a lawyer?
right. Is there anyone else to address this subject? All right, who's got this?
Mr. Chairman, I move that the determination of Dominic Roselli, 34 Oak Drive, Riverhead, for variances to enter relief from the provisions of Chapter 301, Section 11, for a dwelling with a proposed impervious surface coverages of 36.7% of the total lot area, where the maximum permitted is 15%, a proposed front yard setback of 35 feet, where the minimum required is 50 feet, a proposed side yard setback of 10 feet, where the minimum required is 25 feet, a proposed combined side yard of 20 feet, where the minimum required is 55 feet, and proposed rear yard setback of 17.8 feet, where the minimum required is 60 feet, be granted in accordance with the applications and sketches with amendments thereto, if any, as filed with the building inspector.
Second.
Mr. Seabrook,
Aye?
Mrs. Worthington,
Aye.
and I vote aye. So good luck, and be a good neighbor. You got the minutes there, Ms., are they in order to be approved?
They're all, I
Okay,
had emailed them.
okay. Have a motion to approve the minutes?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes have been approved. Do we have a motion for travel expenses? No, excuse me. No.
Can I make a motion for a trip to Miami? No.
Okay, we have a motion to close the meeting.
Motion to close the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We all want to wish everyone, since we're still alive, a Merry Christmas, a happy and healthy, and we're on TV.
Mr. Vice Chairman, there's crickets out there.
We're on TV. This guy, we're on TV. Happy, healthy, and peaceful New Year. And thank you for watching.
And that concludes
You
the
did a hell of a
zoning
job.
board activities
goes
for
to
the year
Krista.
2017.
And this concludes the ZBA activities for the year 2017. It was a pleasure serving.
Agreed.
Mrs. Thomas, you have been an asset to this board.
I'm very
What
happy
would we
that-
do without you?
I don't know.
I'm serious now.
Fine.